Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. I love reading channelings, and we've covered a variety of amazing channelings from Q'uo to Seth to the founders to the Arcturian Council, and now I want to read from the creators. The creators was one of the entities Daniel Scranton channeled from 2010 to 2013 exclusively, and they are a 12th dimensional collective of higher density beings that he has channeled for quite a while, and they remind me very much of Abraham, with a focus on creating and expanding your reality. These particular channelings really felt like they were talking to me directly, and I love it when that happens. You can find this in the book Channeled Wisdom from Higher Dimensional Beings, Volume 2 by Daniel Scranton. All of Daniel's writings are amazing. They're so much fun to read, and the books are amazing. This particular book, he channels the creators, Ophelia the Fairy, the Hathors, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, the founders, the Pleiadian High Council, Kuan Yin, and the Arcturian Council. So this time I wanted to read from the creators. Previously I had read some of the founders. The creators. Emotional nonconformity. The creators. Bringing yourselves into a higher frequency state means that you must enjoy your life more. It is a requirement for you to have a more expanded experience. You are capable of much more joy than you usually allow yourself to feel. You put off your joy many times. You save it for special occasions. You decide that you can only feel joy under certain circumstances. You wish to be emotionally appropriate. And that is something that all of you are starting to break free from. Because for a very long time on your world, it has been socially unacceptable for you to feel a certain way in a certain situation. And this has created a sort of emotional agreement between all of you. If you're attending a funeral, you're to be sad. If you're attending a wedding, you are to be happy. We want to give you the permission to experience whatever emotional state you want to experience in any moment in time. We want you to set aside the social conformity that has created a world full of beings who are behaving appropriately. So you are being asked here to be even bigger outcasts than many of you already feel that you are. We are telling you that in order for you to start an emotional revolution, you must begin with the mundane, and you must be happy with a monotonous task. You must realize that everything is laced with joy, and everything has the potential to be a joyous experience. In fact, if you do not think that it was possible for every aspect of life to be a joyous experience, then you would not have agreed to incarnate into this reality and this dimension. You knew that you were getting yourself into this type of scenario where people would be solemn, serious, even sad, and that it would be your desire to lighten the mood. You knew that you were here to show others the way, and one of the ways that you do this is with emotional integrity. But you also want to choose more frequently how you want to feel, rather than continuing to let the circumstances that are before you give you the cue as to how you ought to feel. So we are encouraging you to let loose more, to dance in the aisles of the supermarket, to be happy because you want to be happy, or to get up off that dock where you were waiting for your ship to come in and to do some cannonballs. Expansion and beliefs. When you are interfering with the evolutionary process that you are engaged with, you only create a less enjoyable experience of it. You will continue to evolve and grow and expand and ascend. There is no question that you will continue on that path forever and ever, but you can attempt to slow it down and halt it altogether with your beliefs that you hold. So you get attached to these beliefs because the beliefs themselves help you feel safer. They give you a comfort in knowing what you can expect. You want to master the reality you are in, and therefore you need these beliefs of yours to give you that comfort and the faith that things are going to turn out as you expect them to. That is all well and good. You are welcome to your beliefs, and you are certainly welcome to remain in whatever reality you choose to be in for as long as you choose to be in it. There is no right or wrong here. It is not as though the reality that you are expanding into is better than the reality you began this journey in. It is not that way at all, but you see, your soul wants new experiences. And since you are somewhat an important part of your soul's journey, you're going along for the ride. So your expansion process can be one that you participate in, or it can be one that you are dragged through kicking and screaming. So how do you expand then? That is the easier, more preferred, and more pleasant and enjoyable way. Well, we suggest that you live in the moment first and foremost. Be living in the moment. You are not taking what you have come to expect and pasting it into the future. You are not attempting to set up these steps for yourselves to get to a certain place. You see, you use your beliefs to help yourself create that reality that you want. So you're always drawing on past experiences in order to create a better future. That is what keeps you attached to those limiting beliefs. But if you remain focused on the now and in the feeling state that you are holding, then you recognize that each moment is a whole new world and offers you a whole new set of possibilities for experience. So much of your letting go process is about the need that you all have to know what is coming next. If you can embrace the present moment with the knowing that what will come next not only can be more satisfying, then you release the need for you to know what that satisfying experience will be. We know that you all want to be very deliberate creators, and we are not telling you not to do that. We are just telling you to use the tools that exist in your hearts rather than using the beliefs that are created in your minds. Our perception of reality. Have you ever wondered where everything came from in your reality? Has it ever occurred to you that the reality that you experience is not really there? Not in the sense that your five senses are able to perceive, not as hard and fast and static. You may look at a rock every day and think that the rock is the same, because that is what your senses tell you. It is the same shape and size and weight and density as it was the day before. But you are creating the rock, and so you give yourselves the version of the rock that is most beneficial to you. Would it benefit you in any way if you saw that the rock had changed dramatically from one day to the next or from one moment to the next? Perhaps then you would focus too much on the rock, and you would give the rock all sorts of magical attributes and qualities. You would study the rock. You would create stories about the rock. You would not see it as your creation, because that is how most of you are operating. But if you were to see a dramatic change and ask yourselves, how does this change serve me? Why is it that I am creating this change? Is this the change I prefer? And questions like that, you would be able to notice more dramatic changes, because you would be owning the change as your change and as your creation. You'll begin to notice big changes in your world, and you will need to recognize the changes within you in order to benefit and in order to make more conscious changes, more conscious decisions, more conscious creations. You needed a certain amount of stability in your outer reflection, and you simply were not moving fast enough with your own energy to see rapid change. But now you are, now you will, and now is the time you've all been waiting for. It is the time when the creation of your reality will become more immediate and more dramatic. And that is why I invite you to seek that which you wish to engage with. Seek it in your inner world. Notice it in your outer world and smile and give yourselves the credit for the dramatic changes that are about to come. Focus on the experience your feelings offer. Sitting in the middle of your life looking around at all that you see, what are the things that stand out mostly to you? What do you tend to focus on regarding your lives? Use this tool to understand what you are accessing at this time. What is most important to you is also what is there for you to cleanse. There is much that you have stored up within you that is rising to the surface at this time so that you can look at it and really see it for what it is. It really is just an experience. When you place so much significance and importance on something, it moves from the realm of just an experience and into the realm of that which must be a certain way. And when you get to that point, or that is how you are looking at certain aspects of your lives, certain situations in your lives, certain beings who are either in or not in your lives, that is when you get stuck. And we are perfectly okay with you getting stuck. And when you get stuck, many times you spend all of your focus on getting unstuck. But what is really important for you to do is to feel into the stuckness. When something is nagging at you, when something is always right there in your face, it is there to get you to examine what it is that you are feeling regarding that subject or circumstance. So that is why the simple act of looking around at your life and seeing what sticks out like a sore thumb can be so productive for you. We want you to take some time off from your attempts to change that thing, and instead we want you to utilize your ability to focus and feel. Once you get into the feelings, you may then access some thoughts. You may access some images. You may get some ideas. You may have some past life memories popping up. Do not get caught up in what springs forth from your diving into the feelings. Don't use this exercise as another means of getting unstuck or of fixing the problem. Utilize this exercise as a means of having an experience. Because everything that you feel for the experience of the feeling. It is not there to punish you. It is not there to tell you where your thinking is off. It is not there because you did something wrong in another lifetime. It is there because you simply want to have that experience. And until you allow yourselves to have that experience of the feeling, you will keep creating circumstances and events that will force you to look at the feeling. Be very gentle with yourselves through this process, but also be very curious and adventurous, because this does not have to be a chore. This can be as exciting as doing something that brings you automatically into a state of joy. Take yourselves as deeply as you can without worrying that you will get lost, because we promise you, you will find yourselves. The gifts your oversoul gives you. Putting yourselves in the driver's seat of your life is something that all of you have been attempting and desiring to do. It is a part of your awakening process to take hold of the reins and to begin to create that which you want to experience. We want that. This is one of the most attractive components to the information that many of you have come across, and we acknowledge you for being able and willing to believe that it is possible in the first place. And at the same time, you all recognize that you are clearing and you are processing, and you have agreed to certain experiences along your path. So the question comes up then, how much of this do I get to create, and how much of this am I here simply to experience? Well, it really depends on which aspect of you are talking about. If you're seeing yourself as your oversoul, then you're creating every little bit of it. And you are creating every little bit of it so that you can have the experience of it. If you are looking at yourself as the personality, the ego, then you are not quite able to call all the shots from that perspective. And this has caused many of you to access your frustration and your anger and your hopelessness around certain aspects of your lives. So what do you do about all of it? Well, what would ultimately serve you best would be to take on the perspective of your oversoul, to allow yourselves to see your life through the eyes of the oversoul being, and to operate in the way that your oversoul does. Your oversoul knows itself as an eternal, infinite, and unconditional love, and your oversoul wants to have experiences and to better know itself as eternal, infinite, and unconditional love. So as you begin to view your life and yourself from those perspectives, then you can see how much easier it is to navigate through it and to be the creator of it. And if you say to yourself, I want to create $1 million, that puts you into a bit of a hole that is quite a confined space. But if you say to yourself, I want to experience many different ways of exchanging energy and information and services and goods, well, then you open yourselves up to a much bigger field of possibilities. So when you approach your life, approach it from the oversoul perspective and look for the experience in what it is that you are creating. Know yourselves as the oversoul does and allow yourselves to enjoy a little bit more that which is before you. Because when you do this, you have that oversoul perspective. Create yourself anew in this moment. Forget everything that you think you know for one moment. Let go. Let go of what you think is going to happen next. Let go of what happened yesterday. Let go of what it is you usually think about when you look at something or someone. In other words, let yourselves become new in one moment in time. Allow yourself that freedom. Allow yourself to simply be for one single solitary moment and see how you feel in that moment. Can you shift how you feel about your life by removing all preconceived notions about where it is you are, where it is you're headed, where it is you have been? How does this change everything? We suggest that you do this at a time when there really isn't much going on. When you have some of your downtime, your free time as you call it. Interesting how you put things. When you are in one of these moments, simply let go of all that you normally do, think and say and exist purely in that moment as a new creation of yourself and of Source. Be willing to cut all ties to all individuals, to all concepts and expectations, and let yourself go into a state of automatic pilot. See where this exercise takes you. You may be surprised at who it is you are now. Now that you can let go of who it is you have attached your idea of self to. Do not overthink this process, because this process is about not thinking, and it is about being, but it is about being while still doing in your world. It is not just a meditative exercise, it is an exercise in living. And as you look upon your world with eyes that are new and with zero expectations, zero preconceived notions, zero judgments, you will see that it is a pretty wonderful place to be, and you are a pretty wonderful being. You are the creator of your experiences. Some of you are experiencing extreme levels of either tiredness or energy that feels uncomfortable to you. And we want to assure you that there is nothing wrong with you if you're having one of these experiences. You are in the midst of a download of energy that will require some of you to shut down in order to integrate. And for others, you will integrate it while being awake and conscious and in your bodies. So you see, there's never a right way or a wrong way to be. And there is never a right way or a wrong way to integrate. That is something that you all must come to realize, because if you look around at what others are experiencing and compare yourselves or judge yourselves for not having the same or a similar experience, you will miss out on your unique experience and the gifts that are inherent in that unique experience. So it is important for you to give yourselves what you need during this time and during these experiences that you are having. We are not advocating that you look for a quick fix, such as a drug or alcohol or something else, that will soothe you and put you into a more balanced state of energy, because you will only be delaying the process that you signed up for. So when you're having these experiences of either extreme tiredness or extreme elation and energy, ask yourselves, what is the gift that this is giving me? How am I being served by having this particular experience? Because we can assure you that this is not just a random selection that you have made. You have chosen one or the other because you wanted to have the benefits of the extra energy or that extra time resting or sleeping or meditating. So let yourselves off the hook. Be good to yourselves and do not medicate yourselves out of this experience. You want to be in your bodies and to have these experiences while in your bodies. And that is why it is so necessary for you to give in and relax and accept whatever experience you are having with energy. And also know this, once you accept where you are and what you are experiencing, you will be able to access more energy or direct the energy that you're receiving and use it in a positive way. We encourage you always to realize that you are the creator of your experience and not a victim. So even though it seems like something is happening to you or to your body, it is you who has chosen this experience, and it is you who can rewrite the script. So give yourselves permission to access energy when you need it, to flow energy towards what you want to flow it towards, and to create the reality that you want to experience with the energy that you receive. Also recognize that, again, you do not have to do anything here to make this process happen. This process is happening, and you get to decide how you experience it. A lighter approach to your ascension. Being the high-frequency energy that we are is something that comes quite naturally to us, and we do not work to maintain this frequency. We do not need to participate in any sort of ritual or activity to be at the frequency that we hold every moment of our current existence. We give you this not to brag or boast or make anyone feel less than what we are, but rather we want to assure you that the process that you are undergoing is a natural one. It does not require you to work at it. It is not something that you must suffer for or spend hours and hours every day practicing. That is the old way. That is how you've been operating on your world for quite some time. You talk about the fruits of your labors, and you honor those who work very hard to support themselves and their families. You see it as a great accomplishment when someone stays in the same job for 50 or 60 years. This is not how we want you to look at your ascension process. So even though you experience the darker emotions, and even though you find yourselves in challenging situations, we are not advocating that you go looking for trouble or that you think that you must be so vigilant for keeping your vibrations high so that you can earn your way into the fifth dimension. We do not see your ascension in that way, and we encourage you to take a much lighter approach to what it is that is well underway in your reality. You have at your core a frequency that is emitted automatically without struggle, without effort, without anyone sending fuel or having to pump anything away. It is something that simply is. And that energy is increasing now because in order for you to let go of lower frequency systems, ideas, behaviors, thoughts, beliefs, and so on, you must be willing to have this higher frequency experience that is incompatible with those lower frequency pieces of information. So by allowing that light to shine brighter, you may find that certain things are falling by the wayside in your life. You may not be able to maintain certain ideas or continue behaving in certain ways because that light is shining brighter. So what makes the process difficult is resistance to your own light. It is a fear that you have that if you were to allow yourselves to be the bright and beautiful beings that you are, that someone might crucify you, strike you down, or at least not want to be around you anymore. And we understand where you get these ideas because this has happened. Because there have been times when you have used your power and have been punished for it. And there have been times when you have used your power in an abusive way. And so we just want you to know that you have already decided that you are not going to do that this time around. And so let your light shine. Do not think that it is something that you need to do or facilitate, but allow it to be. And notice that everything around you is shifting because of it. It is not your job to hold on to anything, and it is not your job to be the one who amplifies your light. You are simply here to experience this wonderful process that happens automatically. Inner strength. Before you can become that which you are ascending into, you may have some experiences that you would rather not have. However, you will find that there is certain necessity for you to create scenarios for yourselves that will get you in touch with very specific stored emotions. These may not look like the emotions that you are accustomed to feeling. They may have an intensity to them that is unknown to you. They will not be just for the sake of your suffering. They will be experiences that you have decided to take on because you wanted to be of service and because you wanted to have a full spectrum of emotions and experiences so that you would be able to hold a level of compassion for your fellow beings that you have been unable to access up until now. So you see, there are very specific experiences that you simply signed up for in this lifetime, and if you are willing to accept that, if you're willing to experience whatever comes your way without resistance and without self-judgment, you will feel a cleansing of yourself through the experience. You will know yourselves as lighter beings because you will have let go of the stored traumas that are inactive currently, but still running beneath the surface. We tell you this not to scare you, not to put you on high alert, and not to create within you the expectation that you have a hard road ahead of you. We just want you to understand that when you find yourselves in the midst of a very challenging situation in your lives, and you find yourselves at your knees, crumbling and in a pile on the floor, that you have not done something wrong to put yourself in that place. You are not being punished because you were bad in another lifetime, and you are certainly not being tested by the Almighty. Instead, you have decided from the broader perspective that you really are, that you wanted to show yourselves your strength, and you wanted to know yourselves as powerful beings who could take on extreme challenges, and know yourselves as the creators of those experiences. Nothing is ever your fault, but everything is your creation, and the sooner you accept your lives as your creations and your emotions as yours to feel, the sooner you can get on to a time when everything that you create will be from your current conscious self, and everything that you feel will be a choice that you make in the moment. And when you get to that place, you will look back at this time and you will appreciate what it was that you decided to put yourselves through. Because having had those experiences, you will most certainly be able to choose for your highest good, and you will also be much more compassionate to your fellow beings, no matter what it is that they are deciding to create. Wisdom that resides within you. When you discover that you contain within you information that you can use to guide yourselves and to serve others, then it would be of benefit for you to look within for your answers, for your guidance, for anything that you seek. It can all be found within you. You are like giant storage devices with trillions of cells, each of which contain their own history, their own unique information, and this information pertains to not only you, not only your genetic line, but also all of the other beings who have ever been incarnate on this planet. It will be so beneficial for you to discover that when you desire to know something, you instantaneously know it, and that you do not really need to seek information from other sources. However, if that is something that you want to do, if that is something that you desire in your life, then by all means, look for other perspectives. That can be a fun endeavor, but you are a self-contained, self-sustaining unit, so there cannot possibly be something that would exist outside of you that would be of more benefit to you than the guidance that exists within you. So we are advocating that you decide that you are the ones who are your best guides, and that you give yourself permission to crack your own codes, to enlighten yourselves, and to access everything that you need to access to live happily ever after. There is no better source of information than the being that is desiring that information, because you see, the question and the answer are like two sides of the same coin. And so, of course, if you have one side of the coin, you must have the other side as well. Now take into consideration the fact that you are the one who is living your life, and you are the one who has had all of the experiences that you've had. So your perspective on your life must contain more information than anyone else's perspective on it. It simply can be no other way. You may be in denial, and that may prevent you from knowing something or seeing something from the perspective of another. And you can always tell what you are in most denial about by what really stirs you, what causes you to constrict yourself and to access resistance. Whenever you find yourself in that state, ask yourself if you are in denial about whatever it is that is before you, whatever it is you are hearing. And above all else, be willing to trust yourselves, to know that if you are getting something, that even though it is coming from you, it is still what you are getting. There is nothing random about anything that you receive, or that you experience, or that you come across in this lifetime. Not a single moment of it is unplanned and unorchestrated. So whatever you receive, it is well worth your while to give it as much credence as you would if it were coming from Source itself. The healing energy of the earth. So many have been in the creation of this world where you find yourselves now. There have been very many intentions placed into your world and many intentions held for your world. But now is the time for you to take on stewardship of your planet, to claim this beautiful thing called Earth as your own. We want you to experience what it is like to be on your home turf, in your own neck of the woods, and we want you to link up with this beautiful ball of energy so that you can experience that connectedness that she is making available to you. So we are extending the invitation from Earth to you to strengthen your connection and to be the indigenous inhabitants that you have always wanted to be but never actually were. This has been a process, an unfoldment, and you have been in an arc of experience with this world. You are learning how to cohabitate, how to get along, how to utilize her resources with respect. We encourage you to create a relationship with your planet. If you're not already, to speak to her, to treat her as you would a member of your family, and to give her your love and appreciation as you would any being who gave so much to you unconditionally. It will benefit you greatly to see this being that you exist on as a conscious, sentient life form that has thoughts and emotions just like you. You are mixing it up with Earth's energies, and there is so much for you to glean from what it is that she has to offer. And we are speaking less from the standpoint of her resources and more from the standpoint of her knowingness, her wisdom, and the healing energy that she is always providing to you. She wants you to cohabitate with her harmoniously. She sees this experience with you as a beautiful opportunity, and she wants you to know that she loves you very much. She has no hard feelings about the pollution and the wars and the misuse of her resources. She simply wants to clear the slate and to begin anew with all of you who are sharing so much with her. So recognize that you may not be from this earth, but you are of this earth, and you have a unique opportunity now to claim her as your own, to develop a partnership and to live harmoniously once and for all with the biggest and closest source of unconditional love that you will ever find in physical form. The power of clear intentions. The intention that you hold is so significant that we cannot overstate its importance. We want you to consider your intentions before entering into any sort of arrangement, before you decide to take any action, before you consider even having a conversation with another person. The intention will speak volumes. It will carry frequency of whatever it is that you are participating in. When you infuse things with an intention, that intention is felt by those who experience what it is you have created. Your intention also will give you a window to your personality, to what it is that you desire and what it is that you fear. And therefore, knowing your own intentions is far more important than deciphering what someone else's intentions are. Because you can always be the one who is intending to hold the space of love and compassion and service. And when you are making your intentions be for the greatest and highest good of all in the collective, when you are tapping into an even bigger source of power and energy, because the more people that are involved, the more of a momentum is gained and the more energy is pulled forth from the higher realms. We want you to be clear about your intentions so that you know exactly what it is that you're striving for. Think about your overall intentions of this lifetime and think about the intentions that you hold for each day, each interaction, each project. When you do this, you are putting that intention into all of those things, and that can drive the direction and will be felt by everyone else who is participating and experiencing it. So be very, very aware of the intentions before you go into anything that you might wish to participate in. And also be aware of your overall intentions, for they will serve you in getting to the core of what it is that you are all about. It is our intention to guide you and to support you, and we appreciate that you are even listening to us. So we appreciate your intention to receive that which we have to offer, and we love you unconditionally without needing to know what your intentions are. I love these channelings. I find them to be very unique, and I love how they talk about the creation of realities. You don't have to believe they're actual channelings. These are teachings from guides that know how to create reality, and it could be anybody. These channelings present a sort of cosmic pep talk, encouraging you to embrace a more expansive view of yourself and reality. The overarching theme is one of empowerment, urging you to tap into your innate wisdom and creative potential. The key things you can take from this is emotional nonconformity. The creators advocate for breaking free from societal norms about how we should feel in certain situations. They encourage embracing joy in unexpected moments, even suggesting dancing in the supermarket aisles. This call for emotional authenticity is reminiscent of various spiritual and self-help teachings that emphasize living in the present moment. And secondly, expansion and beliefs. There's an emphasis on letting go of limiting beliefs and embracing the unknown. This channeling suggests that our souls crave new experiences, and clinging to old beliefs can hinder our growth. It's an interesting take on the age-old struggle between comfort and growth. They also talk about perception of reality. The messages propose a rather mind-bending concept, that your reality isn't as fixed as you perceive it to be. They suggest we're constantly creating our reality, even down to the consistency of a rock. It's a perspective that aligns with some interpretations of quantum physics and certain Eastern philosophies. They tell us to focus on our feelings, and there's a strong emphasis on embracing all emotions and experiences, even the uncomfortable ones. This channeling frames these experiences as opportunities for growth and self-discovery rather than obstacles to overcome. They tell you to take it from the oversoul perspective, and the concept of an oversoul is introduced as a higher aspect of yourself that sees the bigger picture. The channeling strongly emphasized the idea that all necessary wisdom resides within you. We always say that, and it sounds cliche, but there's a reason that this is emphasized so repeatedly by authors and higher density beings. And there's a call to develop a deeper, more conscious relationship with the planet Earth, viewing it as a sentient being. While these channelings offer an uplifting and empowering message, they also raise some thought-provoking questions. For instance, the idea that we create our entire reality down to the consistency of rocks. The messages offer an intriguing perspective on personal growth and spiritual development, encouraging us to question our assumptions about reality and embrace our emotions and tap into our inner wisdom. In essence, they present a cosmic buffet of concepts, blending a number of elements we've talked about in the past, and I will return to the creators for another episode. We have several more channelings from the creators that we can cover. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.